Right now, the Taste of Madison is back. We show you some of the vendors and all the event has to offer. Also news on the retrial of Devontae Gafford, one of the men accused in the 2023 killing of Devon Grant at the Harmony Apartments. And we're following a suspicious death investigation in Dane County. The sheriff's office is now investigating the incident as a homicide. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. This just into the newsroom within the hour. A portion of Century Avenue in Middleton will be closed until Wednesday due to a water main break. Middleton Public Works said the affected areas are between Tomahawk Trail and Baskerville Avenue. Crews are currently on site and working to shift the traffic in the area. And the area will remain closed to allow for repairs and asphalt work. Residents are asked to plan for extra travel time and use alternate routes. MPW said a detour map will be shared pretty soon. Now let's go ahead and get a look at your first warn forecast with the meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, first off, happy Labor Day weekend. So yes. What should we expect as we enter, all the festivities this weekend?
Yeah, happy Labor Day weekend to you and everybody watching on this Saturday. I mean, we had a little bit of cloud cover out there today, but we're expecting more sunshine as we head into Sunday and then continuing into your Labor Day. Temperatures in the 60s to low 70s. Winds are off of Lake Michigan. It is a very pleasant evening out there. We'll take it into Dane County. We're at 75 in Sauk City, 74 across Plains, 71 Madison, as well as McFarland. Now, we are going to be dealing with a little bit of fog as we head into the overnight hours through at least maybe 8, 9 o'clock on Sunday, especially further to the north and maybe in some of the valleys out there in parts of Grant, Crawford, Richland, Iowa counties, maybe into northern Lafayette County as well. But overall, it is going to be a very pleasant night. 40s and 50s. Open up the windows, let in and continue to let in some of that fresh air. The nice conditions stick around through at least Tuesday of next week, and then some changes arrive. We're continuing to track that big system in the full forecast.
All right, sounds good, Blaze. We'll see you in just a bit. And as always, you can track the forecast for yourself on the First One Weather app. It is hourly planners, road conditions, and even radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. Now to the retrial of Devontae Gafford, one of the men accused in the killing of 20-year-old Devon Grant at the Harmony Apartments in 2023. A jury found Gafford guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as a party to a crime and first-degree recklessly endangering safety as a party to a crime. The verdict concludes his retrial. In 2024, jurors deadlocked on the counts of homicide and recklessly endangering safety, and a mistrial was declared. Sentencing in the case has not yet been set. We have an update on the suspicious death investigation in Dane County. The sheriff's office is now investigating the incident as a homicide. Dane County deputies were called to Dunlap Hollow Road just northwest of Mazomanie after a 70-year-old man failed to show up for dinner with loved ones. There they found him dead. His vehicle, a Hyundai, was not at the home. Police in the city of Marinette north of Green Bay near Postigo spotted the Hyundai leading a high-speed chase. The vehicle eventually crashed and the driver got out. Police used a taser, but it didn't work. That led 2 officers firing their weapons and killing the driver. Dane County Sheriff Calvin Barrett released a video addressing the homicide investigation.
Such a grossly unjust and outrageous homicide that it truly just shocks the conscience and does not represent the values of the town of Mazomanie community nor our Dane County community.
The DOJ's Division of Criminal Investigation is leading the investigation into the officer-involved shooting. One of Madison's favorite food festivals returns this weekend, the Taste of Madison. The 2-day event boasts more than 80 food vendors to participate with proceeds supporting several Madison area charities. There's also a variety of beverage options and live entertainment throughout the day. We headed out to the Capitol Square today to find out everyone's battle plan for tackling all the food booths.
Don't be afraid to step on the lawn here at the Capitol building. It kind of gives you a break from all the rushing around and people trying to make their way to the food booths. Take a second, recenter yourself, and get back out there and find some good food.
Taste of Madison returns for its final date tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And the Taste of Madison returns this weekend, as we just talked about. If you're heading downtown, note that all the streets leading into the Capitol building will be closed. On your screen is a map from the city of Madison showing the weekend street closures. Residents can still navigate around the closures using South Webster, East Doty, East Dayton, and North Fairchild streets. Metro Transit says bus routes A, B, E, F, R, and 75 will be affected by these closures. This will continue throughout the rest of the weekend. In Prairie du Sac, today the Wisconsin State Cow Chip Throw took over Marion Park for a celebration of the dairy industry. The festival features tons of fun and entertainment, including a farmer's market and an arts and crafts fair. But most important is the signature event, the cow chip toss. Participants are given 2 cow chips to see which one will be thrown the furthest. But what exactly is a cow chip?
So it's actually a piece of cow manure. They're cattle that are actually fed a high fiber diet, so it gives us a little bit thicker chip. And it makes it more aerodynamic to throw. We pick them up about a month before our event, dry them on wagons, flipping them over to get that perfect chip.
The tradition is a lighthearted call back to the importance of cow chips as fuel sources when pioneers first settled. The Wisconsin State Cow Chip Throw returns next year. Yeah, I don't think I'll be participating. Coming up next on News 3 Now, this year's updated COVID-19 vaccines have been approved by the FDA, the latest on the vaccine. Plus, President Trump continues to push for a meeting between the leaders of Ukraine and Russia.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6. Moving forward.
The FDA has approved this year's updated COVID-19 vaccines, but only for a certain group of people. That includes adult ages 65 and older, as well as any people who have certain medical conditions that would put them at higher health risk and severe COVID-19 infection. According to the CDC, that includes asthma, heart disease, diabetes, and pregnancy. However, doctors can still provide the vaccines off-label for those who do not meet the new eligibility criteria. The vaccines are expected to be available at many pharmacies, doctors' offices, as well in the fall. The CDC's Vaccine Advisory Panel is scheduled to meet next month, where they will weigh in on who should receive the vaccine. Their recommendations will determine whether insurance companies cover the cost of the shot. President Trump has pushed for weeks for a meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He now says a bilateral meeting is expected to happen. This comes as a federal appeals court has ruled most of the president's recently imposed tariffs are illegal. CBS's Willie James Inman has more.
Less than 2 weeks after meeting at the White House with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and after repeated vows to push for a meeting between Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin.
And they should meet, I think, before I have a meeting and probably close the deal.
President Trump now says a bilateral meeting between Putin and Zelensky is unlikely to occur. He made the remarks Friday during an interview with the Daily Caller. The president also said during the interview that a trilateral meeting will happen without specifying when. The president's comments come as the leaders of Germany and France met this week to discuss Ukraine. French President Emmanuel Macron said Russia's President Putin would be duping President Trump if he fails to commit by Monday to meet with Zelensky. Members of the Trump administration insist the president is doing all he can to end the war.
President Trump inherited President Biden's war, and he's working steadfastly to end the killing, and that's something that everyone in the world should celebrate.
In other global news, the Trump administration faced a setback on Friday after a federal appeals court ruled that most of President Trump's tariffs are illegal. According to the ruling, the law the president invoked when he handed down reciprocal tariffs does not explicitly give him the power to do so. The court's decision does not go into effect until mid-October, allowing time for an appeal. In a statement, Attorney General Pam Bondi called the decision wrong and said the DOJ would appeal the case to the Supreme Court. Willie James Inman, CBS News, the White House.
And coming up next on News 3 Now, Blaze Keller returns with a complete look of your First One forecast. Let's go ahead and get a look at your First One forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze.
And we're looking at the pleasant conditions to continue into Sunday and then further into Labor Day. We're looking at temperatures to be a little closer to where they should be for this time of year, getting more into those mid-70s tomorrow underneath mostly clear conditions, and we'll get closer to those upper 70s on your actual Labor Day. Both days, winds are going to be light, mainly out of the east, and pleasant both Sunday and on Monday. Tuesday, we could actually slide into the low 80s because winds are going to turn out of the south, but that's all ahead of that system that we've been talking about over the last couple of days, getting you prepared for a very quick blast of almost late fall conditions. Not only will we be cooling down, but we'll also be dealing with a little bit of rain, to say the least, as well. It's going to begin starting later Tuesday night and continue into Wednesday. This is when the cold front is going to pass. But as I've been mentioning, this low pressure system is going to get cut off from the jet stream a bit, so it's going to be slow to move eastward, which is why we'll still be dealing with very similar conditions, maybe slightly drier for the remainder of Thursday, Friday, and then into Saturday morning. Expect that cloud cover to stick around through at least Friday, and expect the breezy conditions to really pick up there Wednesday into Thursday and then die down as we head into the upcoming weekend. Currently, that system is somewhere up in here in the northwestern territories of Canada, which is why those temperatures are much warmer than here in the Midwest. Watch as that cool down comes out of the Arctic Circle and then impacts us, because again, we have to allow those warmer Pacific air temperatures to make their way into parts of Alaska and continue to remain in the northwest territories of Canada. So we'll take that cooler air, that low pressure system, then spins back towards the Hudson Bay. That's why we still get some of that cooler air to funnel down as we go into the first weekend of September. But it does look like this cool down is going to be short-lived. We do see maybe more seasonable to slightly warmer than average temperatures as we go closer to the middle of September. But it is going to be a chilly end to next week, and anywhere between 10 to 20 degrees cooler than average for our daytime highs, and our overnight lows look to hang out somewhere in the 40s both Wednesday and Thursday night. As I mentioned, that pocket of cooler air is very short-lived. We're starting to see those warmer than average temperature trends begin to make their way back into at least portions of the northern plains, maybe beginning to slide into more of our neck of the woods as we head into the middle of September. So I don't think we're quite done with summer yet in terms of really hot temperatures and really humid conditions. I think that's over, but I don't think we're done with those kind of last summer days, so to speak, before we really do transition into fall. So there is a look at your 7-day and 10-day forecast. Other than that rain chance, obviously next week that we're preparing for, we're going to have a very nice end to the extended weekend. Tuesday, when maybe some of us are heading back to work, it won't be as bad either. And then that first weekend of September, it does look to be at least pleasant, mid-60s to low 70s by that following Sunday.
Yeah, right now it's kind of reaching that time of the year where when you step outside, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So when I left out for work this
chilly
afternoon,
starts.
It was a little warm.
Yeah.
And then when we leave tonight, it's probably going to be a little chilly.
Oh yeah, yeah. Next week, it'll be kind of that same way. But yeah, we're getting into fall, which, like spring, I consider a transition season because we're transitioning out of summer into winter and then vice versa. So it's going to be kind of like this, I would say, over the next month to maybe month and a half, where it's cold during the day or night, and then we get hot during the day, and until it's cold day and night. There's snow and snowmen, ice, slushy conditions.
I'm a huge fall fan. I mean, so many like my childhood memories are around like the fall time, so I get excited. But I'll hold off on that S word you were saying not too long ago. I'll wait a few months before we get there.
It's coming up. Snow is right around the corner.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. Well, speaking of fall, we're still in fall sports season. That means baseball is still with us. Coming up next in sports, the Brewers looking to stay hot against the Blue Jays. That and more next. Wisconsin football won their season opener, and while it wasn't always pretty, the team says a win is a win. Luke Fickell emphasized heading into the season that he wanted to see his team in midseason form in Week 1. And a 17-0 win on paper wasn't necessarily that, but their defense did pitch a shutout. and the Badgers did lose their starting quarterback in the first 20 minutes of the game.
When you have adversity like that in mid-season form, you got guys that have confidence in what they're doing, whether that's the guy coming in or the guys around them. Mid-season form is, I don't think there was a whole lot of pre-snap penalties. We didn't have a substitution error, all 11. I thought we were really sound. Now, we had a bad punt to start off with, but I thought we were really sound in the special teams game. And that's what I'm talking about when I say I have a good feel. When I say this we're in a different place. You can have a struggle, you can have a tough game, you can, obviously have an adversity like losing, have a quarterback go down, but you can still play the game the way that you expect to be able to play it. And that's what I thought we look like tonight.
Many fans who attended the Badgers opening night win over Miami of Ohio on Thursday noticed the massive construction project next to Camp Randall. That's the site of the Badgers' new indoor athletic facility. Our Eric Franke earlier this week got an exclusive progress check on the construction with Athletic Director Chris McIntosh and his team.
To have a role in the construction of a project like this, generations of student athletes can benefit from is, from my perspective, it's just an honor.
You can see the future rising along Monroe Street.
It's super exciting because this facility is going to change the lives of a lot of young people, and it's going to be really transformational to our athletic department.
Jason King is the UW's Associate Athletic Director for Capital Projects. He's overseen a number of them through the years, but this
is the biggest capital project that Wisconsin Athletics has ever done.
Football is at the center of this nearly $300 million project, but in reality, from strength training to sports medicine to every calorie they consume, this place will impact every Badger student athlete.
Virtually all of our student athletes will be affected by this project in one way or another, impacted. There's a concentration of sports, football, soccer, both tracks, volleyball, that are just more concentrated in the Camp Randall footprint. They'll have more of a day-to-day. It's a generational project.
A project that also means hundreds of local jobs.
All of our fabricators and material suppliers and where the steel is fabricated, all of that comes together. There's probably easily 400 people that are touching this project right now, and only a fraction of them are actually here on site.
Jeremy Schechterly got his engineering degree at the UW back in 1999. Now a vice president at J.P. Cullen, his team is keeping everything on schedule as the 2025 football season kicks off.
So an event in the middle of construction is kind of chaos. So how we manage that, control that, plan that within our plan is what ultimately makes a whole lot of this success.
A unique project in a unique city and an historic venue comes with plenty of equally unique challenges. Just 5 of those towering trusses left to go.
So we can only haul them through this city at certain times of day.
Right.
So they actually show up in 4 pieces at 4:30 in the morning. And we have a crew here that unloads them, sets them on the rack that you see over there to stage them in a way that they can do some detailing before they get erected into halves and then hoisted into place.
And while the aging McLean Center serves its purpose for 1 more year, soon the UW will again take a backseat to no one when it comes to providing for its student athletes.
We look at it probably less as an arms race and more as how can we provide facilities that are going to allow our student athletes to have the best experience they can while they're at UW.
This project will provide us with so much flexibility and really allow us to remain strong in a way that supports our mission. And broad-based opportunity, all of our students will in one form or another be positively impacted by this, and it allows us to remain on good footing going forward.
Phase 1 will be done next summer. Then they'll demolish the McLean Center to make way for the new Student Athletic Performance Center, which will complete the Kellner Family Athletic Complex by the summer of 2027. The Brewers are in Toronto this Labor Day weekend for a big series against the Blue Jays. Both teams have 2 of the best records in all of baseball. We head to the top of the 9th, tied 1 apiece, and Jackson Churio would get things going. He hits a solo home run to left center field, and it would go all the way. Then later in the frame, Christian Yelich at bat, and he hits a homer of his own. Brewers go back-to-back with homers, and that's all they would need. Brewers going to win it 4-1. And just a quick heads up, the Packers will be on our network next Sunday right here on CBS. The Pack open up the season at home against the Detroit Lions. Ooh. Kickoff is at 3:25 Central. Huge divisional game, obviously big news.
Yeah.
They made the trade earlier this week to acquire Micah Parsons. after that game, as always, please stick around and watch us right here on News 3 Now. And again, weather, and sports go hand in hand.
Of course.
What should we expect as we enter the latter half of Labor Day weekend?
You know, it's going to continue to remain pleasant. A little bit of fog tonight, especially further north underneath clear to mostly clear conditions, 40s and 50s. A very comfortable Saturday night, and it is going to be a very pleasant Sunday and further Monday, your Labor Day. Tuesday looking nice as well. We might even slip into the low 80s before we hang out in the upper 60s with rainy and breezy conditions Wednesday. And then the upper 50s. Thursday, overnight lows in the 40s Wednesday night and Thursday night. And then for the game, that following weekend, we're looking at the 60s and 70s, both days mostly clear to partly sunny. So not too bad of a weekend.
Yeah, not at all. Definitely looking forward to it. Thank you, Blaze. We'll see you right back here at 10 o'clock.